welcome to the Cryptonaut podcast. My name is Mark Storrs, and hanging out with me as always is
Rob Morphy.
Robert, thank you so much. And
the Chris,
we're back. Christopher's feeling better.
Back in black.
Yes.
Skin there.
And gray, but mostly black.
Yeah, we're mostly, we have a lot of black t-shirts,
That's
a lot
what
of
we
black
do.
hats.
Middle-aged men, former punk rockers.
Yeah.
We wear black.
Yeah, my daughter gives me a lot of shit for it.
Really? She
Yeah,
wants
she
Dad
wants
to have
me
a colorful
Get out of
wardrobe.
color. You said, get a little color in your life. I'm like, I gotta tell you, I look good. Camo shorts, black shirt, and my Crocs or like some Jordans. That's my uniform, and I'm going to be buried in it. So.
I can honestly say, and I think, Chris, I remember you doing the same thing for decades of my life. It seems like I dressed in variation black t-shirts with logos or not.
Yeah.
A backwards hat, a pair of cut-off army surplus shorts.
Yes, yeah.
Cargo, tattered. And, excuse the colloquialism, a bitch magnet, a chain hanging from the wallet.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
I didn't name it. It's just what it was. I was told what it was. And various boots and or sneakers.
Yes.
Ankle high socks.
Yeah.
And that was the wardrobe forever now.
I mean, it's still kind of what I do. Just
Yeah.
no chain wallet. I haven't had a chain wallet in years.
Yeah,
Oh my
I stopped
God.
because I realized once I just got old and it was weighing me down. And I'm like, that's the
It was
I took it
weighing me
off.
down.
I'm like, it's too heavy.
like an idiot. I think
My
I
punk
bought
rock hips can't stand this.
I bought my first at like a pet store, and it was like a heavy chain
mine was
collar.
fucking
Oh, we all
And
did
I'm
that,
like,
yeah.
I don't know what I was thinking. Then I graduated to like the thinnest and most gentle and demure of
Oh my
chains.
God.
And then I'm like, you know what? No one's taking my wallet. I don't have any money. I'm just gonna like keep like a $10 bill in my tip pocket for country club or fucking malt liquor of some sort, and cheap trucker speed.
Yeah,
and go.
being a skater, I definitely had to have that because I was constantly losing my wallet when I was eating shit over and over again in downtown, trying to jump 3 steps. So, yeah.
That's the
The
deal.
way of the West.
Yeah, so we're back. We're doing it here. Mikey Story Part 3, Hell Night.
Oh, boy.
Oh, now, unfortunately, last week, Christopher was not able to make it, so we took a week off, but Robert and I did do a Patreon where he gave a little bit of a hint about the title of this.
I did.
And I'm super excited about this because you told me the title, and I'm like, dude, fucking Hell Night, man, really?
It's like such an 80s horror film title.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
And it's obviously about frat kids, and I don't know what the fuck else, hazing gone wrong or something. But that's not at all what this is about. This is just about literally a hellish night in rural Michigan, involving a lot of families that probably deserve better.
All right, man. Well, with that being said, let's get started with 10-year-old Randy and his father were bleeding and terrified, trapped in the back room of an old barn while an enraged, red-eyed monster named Mikey ripped through the rotten walls, searching for its human prey. Suddenly, the shrill shriek of police sirens gave the cornered family their first glimmer of hope. But, pray though they might, this night of unrelenting terror had only just begun.
Yeah.
No.
Tough night.
Yeah.
Ominous.
Thoughts and prayers, you know what? Not going to work.
No, well, because it happened like almost 50 years ago. So, yeah.
Oh, so it wasn't a thing then?
I mean, well, no, you can.
I mean, you can pray. You can pray for the past.
You
but
can
don't
pray
worry
for
about
the past.
Okay, cool.
And I suppose some quantum theory suggests what you do in the future affects the past. I don't quite understand it, and it makes me angry. But that having been said,
they're just trolling, I think.
Yeah, right. I think
just
it's a
to be
quantum
dicks.
physicist trolling
No,
us.
but really, if you
absolutely.
do this,
Yeah, no.
Nice.
break everyone's
Hop
brain.
on 1 foot the rest of your life. You're going to be rich when you're 5.
Yeah.
Fuck you, dude. All right. So fuck CERN. We're getting in on this, and assuming we can't pray for the past, they're already fucked.
All
Some
right.
people less so.
Okay, well, I'm
Let's find
stoked
out.
to see where we're going to be picking up here, buddy, so let's do this.
As Mark so eloquently stated, when we left off, Randy and his father Gus were in a precarious situation. Trapped inside a rickety 120-year-old barn while an aggravated juvenile Bigfoot was reenacting the siege scenes from Night of the Living Dead by smashing the decaying lumber and jamming his hairy hand through the ever-growing cracks in the walls, desperately trying to grab anyone within reach. The object of his ire was 10-year-old Randy who, unclothed, panicky, and bleeding, hunkered by his father, his back pressed against the only solid surface in the room, the inside door. Randy winced and looked down. He could see 4 deep, parallel scratches well up from his belly button to his thigh, as well as a chunk of flesh that had been gouged out of his upper leg from when Mikey's mom Squatch had used her filthy, jagged nails, for reasons still unclear, to rip off Randy's pants before trying to drag off her own clearly misbehaving little monster from what turned out to be a disastrous interspecies playdate. So if you recall, it's been a couple weeks.
Yeah.
Yep.
They're playing in the barn, making, sounds at each
Yeah,
other,
with the
spinning
shit.
around on the ropes. And then all of a sudden, Randy decides to beat his chest like
And,
Tarzan.
Mikey gets aggro.
And
Yeah,
Mikey's
everyone,
like,
the
"The
whole
fuck
family
you
gets
did."
aggroed.
Yeah, and then the mom shows up.
And rips off Randy's pants.
No one knows why. You know what? We're not going to ask.
No, it's
No,
not. It's not for us. It's a cultural thing, maybe.
Yeah, maybe that's what big feet do when they say hello.
Not that I'm saying it's okay.
No, it's
Don't de-pants the boy.
No, leave the pants on.
So let's just table that.
All right, yeah, no, it's fine. Moving on.
Now we're in the back room. If you recall, I guess just to fill it in really quick. Dad came running out,
Gun in hand.
gun in hand,
Yep.
his 16 gauge. The mom and dad were standing by the field. They ran away into the cornfield on all fours. Dad getting the fence caught around his ankle.
Yeah.
and tearing it across
Little
the
Mikey,
countryside.
Babyfoot, as I'm going to call him occasionally, comes running back, confronts them, and now Dad and Randy, unclothed and scratched and gouged,
Yep.
are in the back room of the barn, and that's where Mikey is trying to rip through the walls, Night of the Living Dead style.
Yep.
Fully fucking caught up.
This is Hell Night.
Then, as father and son felt their guts churning with anxiety during those brief, unnervingly quiet moments before the beast's next savage assault, Randy glanced to the side, and that's when he suddenly noticed a huge eye, no longer glowing red. Interesting, I don't know why.
Okay.
Peering in from a hole in the wall next to him. In his April 5th, 2023 video, Morse Lake Monsters, Chapter 3, The Barn Encounters, Alto, Michigan, 1977, thorough, long and thorough title,
Yep.
Yes.
Randy recalled the next few harrowing moments. Quote, Mike reached through this hole that was next to me and he grabbed my arm and was trying to pull me through this little hole, and it got pretty violent. It hurt and I was screaming, and my dad had to use the butt of his gun on Mike to get him off of me, and Mike screamed, and after that it went quiet for a minute. So my dad went over to the east side where the board was kind of like hanging on one nail, and he started looking out there, and the barrel of his gun was sticking a little bit out. That's ominous. He peeked out there to see if Mikey was gone because it was quiet for a little bit. And Mike actually grabbed the barrel of the gun and tried to get it away from him. He almost pulled the gun away from my dad, and my dad had to shoot the gun to get it back. And I was already freaking out, and I was sitting there naked and trying to deal with all of this. When he shoots the gun, Mike releases it, and I think he runs off. End quote. Not a situation most of us would like to find ourselves in.
No, it's a lot, man. That's a lot.
10.
That's
10 years old.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot.
That's an ace.
Yeah. It's problematic. All right. Well.
Though there is no official record of Randy's father's perspective, save what he discussed with his son in the years before his death in 2015. What we do know is that in an effort to race down to the barn to rescue his screaming child, he'd come woefully underprepared with little more than some bird shot and a few shells. Now, he'd just blown an even bigger hole in the already dilapidated wall in an effort to get the marauding monster to release the barrel of his shotgun. Gus could see that the sun was setting and that he was quickly running out of ammo, and that whichever happened first, God help them. For his part, Randy had no idea if Mikey'd been hit or merely frightened by the thunderous roar of the weapon's blast. But in the few seconds of peace between attacks, father and son heard a jarring sound that was music to their ears. Police sirens wailing in the distance. In a July 3rd, 2022 interview with Bob Gimlin, the researcher, not the icon, as we indicated in the first episode, titled Interview with a Witness to Prolonged Bigfoot Habitation, founder of the Midwest, not the Midwich, the Midwest Bigfoot Researchers, again, thorough title, Randy said, right then we started hearing a siren coming down on 92nd Street coming towards us. The whole encounter was probably just 5 minutes. We heard the sirens coming toward us, and it stops at the house first. My mother must have told him to come down here, and he still had his sirens on when he pulled in. Randy, at this point, assumed that his mother, hearing the shots and screams, had wisely called the authorities to come and save her husband and child from the massive, hairy, bear-like beasts that were running around the barn on all fours. Because remember, the mom's there, the dad's there, the baby's there at this point, and seemed to be attacking them. All the while likely thanking God that her daughter was safe at her sister's house. The sirens drew nearer. Looking through the hole in the north wall, Randy spied an unmarked Michigan State Troopers vehicle from the Wayland State Police Post, the magnetic red police bubble flashing on the car's roof as it came to a stop near his house. His mother ran out, pointing frantically down the long dirt driveway toward the old milking barn where Randy and his dad were cornered, and the police vehicle continued through the backyard, screeching to a halt next to the barn, lights flashing, sirens blaring. As luck would have it, just as Mikey was barreling toward the ever-growing hole in the back room containing the father and son, likely intending to tear through it and perhaps into the soft-bodied humans therein, the officer's Pontiac Le Mans ground to the halt directly in front, ground to the halt, the only halt it could grind to, a halt in front of the aperture, blocking the beast's access point. Though clearly infuriated by the intrusion, the size of the auto combined with the siren's blare sent Mikey skittering on all fours, red hair flailing in the opposite direction. The trooper rushed into the barn and started banging on the locked inside door. Gus opened it. When he stepped into the now hole-filled room, the officer's first question, understandably, was why Randy wasn't wearing any clothes, quickly adding that he'd managed to scare off the bear that was trying to get them. In a panicked jumble, the father and son explained that what he'd driven off was no bear, but something every bit as fierce and much more intelligent. It is at this moment that one might reasonably expect this incident would play out like countless frustrating scenes in horror movies where the cops arrive just as the menacing monster makes its exit, leaving the bleeding and terrified victims to look like jabbering fools. But this was not destined to be the case. While Randy and his father stumbled over their words in an attempt to explain what had actually happened, an undeterred Mikey obliged them by once again jamming a hairy and decidedly unbear-like hand through one of the cracks in the wall, shredding through the aged timber. Startled, the trooper and Randy's dad both turned in unison and began to fire at the offending appendage. Once again, Mikey was gone in a flash, apparently unharmed.
Bang, 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 bang.
Still, that's like,
Some Wild West shit.
Dude, that really is. You're like, unload all the clips.
Wow. Gunfight at the Bigfoot Corral.
Yeah, dude, seriously. Oh, boy. All right.
I mean, they're armed at least. And scary noises scare monsters,
I mean,
apparently.
shooting hairy hands, dog.
Shooting hairy hands.
Shooting hairy hands.
No, I haven't got hands and hearts and shooting hearts and hands.
Hairy hands and
hairy
there
hearts.
you go.
The men looked at one another in disbelief. What they seen was like something torn from the pages of an Edgar Rice Burroughs novel, a seemingly impossible thing from a murky, long-dead past, and yet right here, before their very eyes, they had seen it. It was real, and it was dangerous. Without warning, the unnerving silence was once again shattered by the sounds of sirens, this time an ambulance that had been called in as a precaution. So the fucking melee continues.
Nice.
In his video, Morse Lake Monsters Full Documentary, I don't know how a title got that short, but I'm very grateful.
Short
And it's a great documentary. It's only like 111 minutes or 111. I don't know if that means an hour and 11 minutes on.
Probably an hour and 11 minutes.
Yeah, I'm probably fucking that up bad.
It's okay. It's all right.
Either way, it's 111.
Nice.
Enjoy it. But after you hear this shit, because I don't want you to spoil any surprises. I'm talking to you guys out there.
Oh, $10 tier watching us. Shake our bodies in the camera.
Yeah, oh, it's so exciting.
Yeah.
I'm wearing a trucker hat for the first time.
You are. You
very
look good.
excited.
I like
Thank
it.
you.
I like this new Bob look.
All right. So we're back to the Morse Lake Monsters Full Documentary where Randy claimed. As we heard the ambulance approaching, we decided to go outside. We went out through the big hole with me in the middle between my dad and the cop, and we got behind the cop car. Mike was outside, but as soon as the ambulance pulled up with the siren on, Mike ran away. The ambulance, a then brand new 77 Cadillac, you're going to note that Randy's really good about knowing cars. He's a kid from Michigan in the 70s, so he's fucking
dude.
better.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, dude.
And there's going to be another Michigan reference that comes up soon, but we're not going to worry about that till later. But he is definitely a kid in Michigan in the 70s, and it fucking shows, both through car knowledge and another thing that we'll
And his
table for
love
now.
of Kiss too.
Well, that's the other thing, I guess.
Yeah.
It gets more. You know what? I'm gonna do a little drop here. I don't usually do. I'm gonna break the tension, give a little drop. You know what the final episode of this saga is gonna be called?
What's that?
The Kiss Army. And it's absolutely apropos.
Dude, really?
Yeah.
They're all gonna be there?
Nope.
Oh boy.
Not a one.
Yeah.
But
No,
the soul
but
of
the
Peter
army,
Criss is
yeah.
crying for a Sasquatch right now.
Right.
No, but oh my God, I wish they would.
Dude.
That would be so much better than the Phantom of the Park or whatever
Dude,
fucking made for
we
TV bullshit they did.
Oh,
we
yeah.
just missed Ace Frehley like a couple of days ago at the fair.
What the fuck we did?
We did.
What the fuck we did?
Yeah, I guess we all managed to do that successfully.
Yeah, I thought it was this weekend, and boy, am I fucking bummed.
Oh, it happens.
All right, man, here we go.
All right. So, again, getting back into the story, he's coming out of the barn, buck naked, between a cop and his dad, well armed. Sun's going down. The ambulance, a then brand new 77 Cadillac. So it's that old school flat ambulance.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like the station wagon style before they got, bigger for people to actually work, was manned by 2 attendants, 1 female and 1 male. The driver killed the engine and flicked off the lights and sirens as his partner, the female attendant, rushed over to meet the bruised and bloodied Randy, who, if he was anything like me when I was 10, would have gladly given 6 years of his life for a blanket to hide himself. Strange to say, but one can only hope that the shock and pain overwhelmed any embarrassment this poor kid may have felt in that moment. Because I can't even imagine what it would be like being a 10-year-old with a woman running over to treat you. If you're terrified, maybe you blank it out. But it's got to be just hard. And I know it's a weird thing to break down, but I just felt for the kid.
No, nobody wants to be naked like, here I am.
No.
Like ever. I mean, maybe when you're older, you don't give a fuck, but when you're a kid, you're like,
Oh, yeah. You got youthful shame.
Yeah.
Either way, the sun was setting as the EMT checked the boy for injuries. At the same time, Randy's father and the now hyper-vigilant trooper walked over toward the driver's side of the ambulance. The officer told the ambulance driver that there was at least 1 dangerous animal on the loose, maybe more. The attendant, likely noting the genuine concern in the officer's tone, wasted no time in pulling a .38 special out of the ambulance glove compartment, which, of course, safety first.
Oh,
Like,
yeah, dude.
in case the heart patient goes fucking crazy or something.
If you got to shoot someone back to life, you got to do it.
Got to shoot someone back to life. It's America.
Exactly.
As Randy was being treated, the 3 now armed men cast a wary gaze out into the endless sea of corn that seemed to sway in the decaying light. Randy continued, as we get into the back of the ambulance and the female attendants opening the door, Mike makes an appearance over by the cooling barn, which is in between the milking barn and the hay barn. Remember, there's 4 fucking
Lots
barns
of
on
barns,
this property.
So many goddamn
Milk
barns.
barn is where the incident happened, the decaying milk barn.
Yeah.
This was a smaller concrete structure, I think.
Cooling barn.
Which he says here, which is a little cement cooling barn that's still there today. I don't know what you cool in a cooling barn. I don't know what the deal is, but
Milk.
it's there.
Cows.
Sure, that makes sense.
Yeah.
He just comes right out in the open and stands in this long grass out there, and everybody sees him and nobody can believe it. They're like, what is that? A bear? That's not a bear. So they start shooting at him, or I think in the air. I'm not sure. Well, it drives him off, but he only goes around the other side of that milking barn and starts peeking around the end of it. It didn't scare him off, end quote. It's difficult to imagine just what that moment must have been like for those present. Randy and his father, exhausted and horrified by their near-death experience, were, at least by this point, vaguely familiar with the creature in question. But for the trooper, and especially the ambulance attendants, it must have been a scene straight out of a nightmare. There it was, big as life, a hairy, toothy, red-eyed monster, or maybe normal-eyed at this point, it's hard to tell, with no apparent fear of bullets, who'd been attacking this local family and whose mother had, for no explicable reason, torn the clothes off this bleeding child. It was almost too much to comprehend. But these people were all professionals, and they had jobs to do. As such, while the attendant was applying basic first aid to Randy's wounds, the officer, realizing that this shambling horror seemed to be afraid of both the lights and the sirens, turned on his own and had the ambulance driver do the same in order to keep this semi-simian thing, whatever the hell it might be, at bay. It seemed to do the trick, and Mikey once again vanished. So it's some hide-and-seek bullshit in the backyard of the fucking
and dude,
Cutrara house. I hope I said it right this time.
Cutrara.
Fuck it.
Sonics. This thing hates Sonics.
He hates it.
Yeah,
the Sonics and the lights.
Lights, too.
Doesn't like strobes, I'll bet.
Yeah.
Hate a rave.
Oh, yeah.
He's not raving.
No.
He would not like a Kiss
Till
concert.
dawn.
Probably not.
No.
Wrong state, dude. Wrong fucking state. Because Detroit is indeed Rock City.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
In Michigan, yes.
Yes.
Perfect.
According to Randy, I got into the back of the ambulance. They went up to the house and the other cars met up there. We were joined by a conservation officer. The ambulance attendant checked me out further. I had superficial wounds, but I had to get stitched up and go to the hospital later. They did their best to patch me up. In the meantime, this is me writing again, the trooper and the DNR officer, a law enforcement official working for the Department of Natural Resources and not a do not resuscitate, which threw me fucking for a loop at first, who'd likely been called in as this was a suspected animal attack, were on Randy's back porch discussing what had just happened when they all heard the muffled crack of a rifle shot. A few seconds passed, and suddenly the silence was again breached by a series of gunshots, now clearly outside, that echoed in the dwindling sunlight. The shots had come from the direction of Tim's house, their nearest neighbor about 1.5 miles to the south. You remember the kid that has his fictional troll/orangutan friend in the fucking corn?
With the babysitter.
Oh, yeah.
It was like he's playing with his troll friend in the corn.
Yes.
Like, phenomenal.
Yeah. You are doing a bang-up job, lady.
Exactly.
Yeah. She's a real winner.
Jesus Christ. Jesus.
Okay, so we remember fucking Tim. Almost simultaneously, the trooper heard the static-filled crackle of his radio going off. He ran for the CB, and after speaking in quick, hushed tones with the dispatcher, he turned back to Randy's dad and the DNR man, shouting, "There's something happening down at your neighbor's house. We've got to go." With that, he and the conservation officer took off like a shot, sirens blaring. Concerned for their neighbors and still reeling from their own terrifying, adrenaline-fueled odyssey, the Kutaras? Fuck, this name is my fucking bane.
Contreras.
Mark, you say it from now on. I can't believe I even bothered to write it.
I think I got it right, Chris, right? The Contreras.
Yeah.
Is it Kutrera or Ka?
Contreras.
Ka.
Contreras.
See you as Ka now. Fuck.
Contreras.
Kutrera. Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
All right, let's pretend none of them happened. Wow. Okay. The Contreras were
Man.
near the end of their tether. See how easy it is? Mark,
Yeah.
I was telling you all day. Don't worry about it. After bandaging up the boy, the ambulance was excused. I always love the idea of excusing it. No. I'll do this $300 drive to the hospital. Thanks.
No one's dead yet, ma'am.
Wow.
Yeah.
They were hard in the 70s.
Oh, yeah.
Minutes later, the now fully clothed Randy, his mother, and his father were climbing into the family's 1967 gold Dodge Polara, which I looked up. Pretty fancy old car. It's a solid little old sedan, maybe. I don't know cars. Stylish.
Sounds dope as shit.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. And gold. Come on.
Oh, come on.
Pimp as shit.
Fuck yeah.
To drive to the hospital to get him sewn up and antibiotics and maybe a tetanus shot. I don't even know what you need to fucking do with animal shit.
Sure.
Yeah.
The state trooper returned, whipping into their driveway just as they were about to leave, and came to a gravel crunching halt behind the Polara. It being a small rural community in the 1970s where authorities felt little, if any, pressure to maintain local victim anonymity, the trooper told them that their neighbors had been attacked. They think by the same creatures who had cornered them in the barn. The trooper took off, and Randy's father, understanding that his son's injuries, though severe, were not dire, decided that his wife should stay behind and that he and Randy should stop by their neighbor's home before going to the hospital. Though not chronicled, one might imagine that the wife's response was to be less than thrilled by this decision.
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
Randy's
wow.
got fucking.
And
he's got rabies setting in at this point.
Sure, you're worried about your kid.
Yeah.
He's got the rabies. He's got the nail tetanus. He's got all sorts of shit.
Everything. Yeah.
Also, your fucking armed husband and son and the local state trooper and fucking ambulance people were just not attacked, really. Well, your son and husband were.
There was gunshots.
But there was mayhem.
Right.
Now you're alone in the house? Bigfoot Central?
Yeah, bring mom with you.
Bring fucking mom with you.
Put her in the back of the car.
why?
Give her a gun.
Do not understand that.
Give her a gun.
I don't know. Maybe she's a tough ass and it's like, someone's got to watch the house.
Stop.
Maybe.
Or my mom will shoot.
Oh my God, please never reference that movie again. I paid to see that in a theater.
Continuing,
I did
Robert.
not.
The shame I feel to this day. A lady was involved, surely. Okay.
Let us heal together.
Oh my God.
Good sir.
All right. So, mom's staying home. Randy and dad are going to Tim's house. That's where we're left off. Randy explained. The trooper took off, and my father and I went down to the neighbors to see what happened down there and to see if everybody was okay. We had to double back past my house and pick my mother, back up on the way to the hospital anyway, which doesn't make any sense. You could have just gone the other way to the fucking hospital, so it's not like it's convenient, but whatever.
Just keep mom in the back of the car, dude.
Thank you.
There you go.
When we got to the neighbors, the conservation officer was there along with a couple of local sheriff units that were parked in the road, and one was parked in the driveway. Most of the other kids and Tim's mom were loading up their car, but Tim wasn't anywhere around, end quote. Later, Randy would claim that he noted that there were vehicles from both Berry and Montcalm counties due to the fact that most of the houses in the area were situated close by. In the midst of the chaos and din, all eerily lit by flashing red police bubbles, and I can almost see this like in slow motion, like a Netflix show or an old movie,
Oh, yeah, totally.
like David Fincher style,
Yeah.
like following the kid right over his shoulder in silhouette as he's going into this nightmare scene.
Yeah.
What struck Randy most in all this chaos and din and red lights was the clear state of shock Tim's mother seemed to be in as she filed her children, Tim's two younger brothers, his little sister, and the baby into the back of their bulky yellow Cadillac that was parked outside of their single-story stone house. The family had clearly been through a terrible ordeal, and they were leaving. And even though Randy had yet to understand the full scope of what had happened at his friend's house, he'd overheard enough to realize that, quote, they didn't know if the situation was going to continue or what overnight. They figured it wasn't safe. So they're getting the fuck out.
No, it's a smart move, though.
Yeah.
The kids pack up and go to Mima's house.
You gotta.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, go get some soup
Soup makes things better.
with Mima.
And some crackers, some saltines and soup. Or grits if you're feeling fancy. If you got a fancy
Oh,
Mima.
Hey, this
yeah,
is
that's
70s.
fancy.
This is the
Come on now.
70s.
They had grits crackers in the 70s.
In 77, my God.
Jesus Christ,
The
dude.
gas shortage was around the corner, sir.
I think it was in the thick.
Oh, maybe you're right.
Maybe even earlier.
I don't remember.
I don't know either. We were babies. You weren't a baby. You
I
were
wasn't.
nothing. You were in a zygote.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You weren't even tickling your dad's nuts yet. Bless your
No,
heart.
I
floating
wasn't.
in the guff.
Pretty
Yeah.
sure my dad was still in high school at this
I was
point.
working sit and spins like a master.
As my dad, I'm pretty sure he was still in high school.
There it is.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay. As young Randy followed his dad into the house, the air must have been sucked out of his lungs. The wood-paneled living room was in shambles, furniture overturned, school supplies scattered, but by far the worst aspect was the sheer amount of spilled blood that seemed to saturate the space. To the boy, it looked like a literal bloodbath. Police officers hustled around, snapping photos, inspecting the scene. Randy recalled, "We found my friend Tim's dad, Tom, in the living room, and a couple of cops wandering around looking at all the school supplies, and there was blood everywhere." Tim's dad was over by the larger TV, pulling a teddy bear off the shelf. Inside that teddy bear was a beta camera. Basically, Randy continued, table all that for 1 second. It was a homemade nanny cam. There's a cable that went through the wall to the VCR in the other room, and he was pulling it out and trying to hook it up to the other TV to see what had happened. He had just installed this camera because he suspected their 17-year-old babysitter was stealing money.
Ah, shit. Go play with your troll friends in the corner while I take out these 20s.
Wow.
Yeah.
So he wanted to see if the babysitter was taking it. So he made a nanny cam, and now he was checking it out to see what he got on that camera. End quote. Now, I have to put this in parentheses because I went down a fucking rabbit hole because beta cams
Oh, no, I see.
don't get invented until 1980
Oh, yeah.
and this is 77.
Okay, all right. Well,
And I will no, look, this works out okay for Randy. I'll foreshadow.
Okay.
But I will say that for the longest time, I'm like, I get confused about things that happened in my past. I have a fucking shit show memory, but I sure as fuck
Yeah.
remember shit when I was 10 a lot different than shit when I was 15. We all do.
Yeah.
It is an incredibly
True.
different perspective on things. And so, actually, through his videos, he showed clips of things. One of them was a Super 8 camera, which obviously is hooked up to fucking nothing
Right.
and does nothing. So
Yep.
you don't have it unless you have an automatic trigger in a whole system.
Yeah.
So here it is. Randy seems to think that the camera/recording combo was, and this is because I did some research based on a photo he put up, an RCA VBT 200 VCR with a BW001 camera, which was made in 1977 and 1978.
Oh, okay, there you go. Cool.
It was a black and white camera that needed to be wired directly to a VHS VCR. So it is plausible that this guy in Michigan had some cutting edge tech. There's a lot of techies in the neighborhood when I was a kid, adult men that was their passion.
I kind of
It makes
remember setups like this.
So I was going to say a little bit of a red flag, but I can buy this part.
Okay, well, there you go. We're for corroboration.
Right.
And now a word from our sponsor, BetterHelp.
What's something you'd love to learn? As an adult, do you make time to learn new things as often as you'd like? Or was that lost in childhood? I've always wanted to learn how to juggle, but as most of you know, I have bad eyesight and I refuse to take the appropriate steps to address that. Kids are always learning and growing, but as adults, sometimes we lose that curiosity. What's something that you'd like to learn? Gardening, a new language, or maybe how to finally beat your best friends in bowling? Therapy can help you reconnect with your sense of wonder because your back-to-school era can come at any age, even at 44. Now, therapy can also be helpful for learning positive coping skills and how to set boundaries. It will empower you to be the best version of yourself. It isn't just for those who've experienced major trauma. Now, if you're thinking of starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. It's entirely online and designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited for your schedule. Just fill out a brief questionnaire to get matched with a licensed therapist, and you can switch therapists at any time for no additional charge. Rediscover your curiosity with BetterHelp. Visit BetterHelp.com/HellerSpace today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/HellerSpace. And now, back to the show.
Randy continued. While he was doing that, he told us when they got home, after the babysitter left, they started watching TV. They heard the gunshots up by our house and then the sirens and then some more gunshots and then everything went quiet. So they're experiencing the same thing that Randy and his family would be experiencing soon after.
Just the other side, yeah.
Right. They continued watching TV. Of course, what are you going to do at this point?
Yeah, fuck it.
And they heard something beating on the bathroom window and the side of the house and on the roof and screaming. Frightened by this spontaneous bestial cacophony, especially so soon after the nearby sounds of shots and sirens, the family's patriarch Tom rushed to the closet to retrieve his .30-30 Winchester rifle. Powerful rifle, I think, based on the little bit of research I did.
Yeah, that thing will pack a fucking punch.
Like they say you can hunt elk with it.
Yeah, that thing is meant for like shooting elephants.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Tom ran back into the living room just in time to hear a loud crash emanating from the bathroom. Something had smashed through the window. Tom had barely turned toward the sound when the wild-eyed Mikey, in all of his feral ferocity, broke through the bathroom door, making a beeline for his son, Tim, who had been eating a bowl of Trick cereal in the front room in front of a television while watching an episode of Bionic Woman, which might be the most 70s sentence I have ever fucking uttered.
Yeah.
That is pretty fucking 70s.
I feel like I did the exact same fucking thing. Maybe it was Captain Crunch and Bionic or $6 Million Man. I don't know. Probably the same thing. Tom was shocked. Not only were all of Tim's orangutan stories true, but here it was in his home, charging after his eldest son. His family shrieking in horror, Tom whirled around as Mikey dragged his panic-stricken son back towards the bathroom and the shattered window. To cut to the chase, the scene was pure bedlam. Crying children, screaming parents, a screeching bellicose baby beast, a panicking Tim being dragged across the floor toward a pile of broken glass, about to be kidnapped by the same baby beast. And as if this situation could possibly get any worse, while all of this was happening, Mikey's own panicked parents, the colossal 9-foot-tall blonde Bigfoot and his darker 7-foot-tall mate, were seen peeking through the windows and pounding on the outside walls with their massive fists, shrieking even louder.
This is a shit show.
It is a shit show.
Holy fuck.
It is a hellish night.
Yeah. Hence hellish.
Yes. There you go.
Therefore, furthermore.
It is impossible to know if they were merely calling for Mikey's return or warning the humans inside not to harm their child. But if the latter was the case, their guttural, inhuman pleas fell on deaf ears. Randy explained what this hellish moment of madness had wrought in one gut-wrenching sentence. Tim's father decided he had to shoot this crazy orangutan.
Oh. Well, I mean, given the situation,
if it's grabbing your fucking kid and dragging it toward
you don't really have a choice.
With two giant monsters outside looking through the windows.
You kind of have to. Like, it's not even really a decision. You're like, I have to shoot this thing.
You gotta.
Yeah, there's no choice.
At this point. I mean, it's your baby.
Mikey in the crosshairs.
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't really matter what it is. If some shit is kidnapping your fucking kid.
Yeah, you're going to shoot the fuck out of it.
You gotta.
Yeah, exactly.
With like terror and screams and broken windows and giant, monsters outside.
Yeah, well, Mikey.
No, I mean, I'm not here to judge Tom.
No, I mean, he did the right thing. As a father, I would fucking do this thing. I would do that in a heartbeat. I'd be like,
Hell
"No,
yeah.
sorry, you got to die.
Just as an uncle.
I need to save my boy." Well, he's bigger than me and could probably beat the shit out of Mikey, but whatever. It's fine.
You know, ape strength, man.
That's true.
Never underestimate ape strength.
That's true.
Mikey's like 4 foot nothing or whatever he is, but that motherfucker could probably tear some shit apart.
Yeah, well, Mikey, guess what, buddy? You got to die.
It was at this point in the story that Tom had finished hooking up his VCR to the large faux wood floor model TV
Oh, I miss those.
and pressed play. Randy, his father, and a handful of other police and DNR officers, as well as 2 local sheriffs, crowded around the screen to watch what had to be one of the most astonishing examples of cryptozoological evidence ever captured. Though the angle was designed to catch the teenage babysitter with her hand in the till, what the tape actually revealed was a staggering ode to the part technology can play in unknown animal research. Randy and the rest stared in wide-eyed wonder as the image flickered to life. Just as Tom had said, he and his wife and the kids were watching television in the living room when the sound of shattering glass startled the whole family. Then, without warning, Mikey's hairy back lurched into frame. The baby foot made a beeline for Tim, grabbing the shrieking boy by the arm. Suddenly, Tom stepped into frame and raised his rifle. Randy picked up the account. Quote, "He took the shot at almost point blank, probably no more than 10 feet away, maybe a little more. I see Mike get shot, and he turns around and leaves on his own power. So I was thinking he might have been okay. But the amount of blood, it didn't look like he was going to be okay very, very long." That's not funny, but yeah, it's just a realistic kid. The shot had gone right through Mike, right through the wall, and into the kitchen, somehow not hitting any of the gas pipes. Even as a kid, that kid was practical.
Yeah, Jesus.
But so that's what he saw. Following the rifle blast, all of the men present. Oh, that should have probably been a trigger warning. Oops.
What's that?
Kid shooting the Bigfoot, the baby foot.
You know, I mean, it's okay. I think, yeah.
I mean, does it count after?
Nah, it's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, when you get to this point, don't rewind.
No, you're fine.
If you're bothered.
Just keep going. You know, I mean, it is what it is. Mikey got shot and, well, he's not going to be okay.
I mean,
there's your warning. That's what you get. Probably, I'm using my context clues. Probably not going to be okay.
That's a fair guess.
Yeah, it's okay. All right. Well,
I mean, you don't know. I don't know for sure. I know for sure. You guys don't know for sure.
This is unfortunate. This is how
it could go either way.
Yeah, you never know.
It probably won't go well.
Yeah.
Because I can't do that to the audience. I mean, yeah.
No, it's okay.
Okay.
Continuing.
Thank you. All right. Following the rifle blast, all the men present could clearly hear the angry/anguished screams of Mikey's parents through the tinny speakers of the television. Unlike their adolescent son, it seems these older cryptids were well aware of the kind of damage human beings were capable of inflicting. Tom turned to the captivated crowd and finished the story, explaining that the now wounded creature had crawled back through the broken window, but that its parents had grown more enraged upon spying their injured child and attacked the house walls with intensified ferocity. Knowing that he and some fragile wooden doors were now the only barriers between his family and wholesale destruction, Tom decided to take the fight to them. He rushed outside, took aim, and began firing at the mammoth monsters. The second series of shots the fucking name Randy's family had heard. The barrage outside. An act of near suicidal bravery that finally drove the clearly furious fiends away. All of that would have played a lot more tense if I could read, for the record.
I mean, dude, the Contreras are out there. It's a whole thing, dude.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
But no sooner than the conquering hero re-entered the house than his son Tim rushed past him, tears streaming down his face. Before his dad could stop him, Tim vanished into the darkness. It was then that the state trooper, who had just rescued Randy and his father, made the scene, immediately followed by the conservation officer and other units from the nearby counties. So now we're sort of coming back together the timelines.
Okay, so Tim is there. Okay.
Yes.
Gotcha.
So now we're back to Randy in the house watching this on tape and hearing the story.
Oh boy, okay.
Randy was disgusted by what he'd seen on the tape, and in the agitation of the moment and the frankly poor parental supervision of the era, he managed to slip out of the house. Quote, "My dad stayed and talked to Tim's dad for a while, and I decided to go out and try and find Tim. So I went outside, and Tim's mom and his 2 brothers and his older sister were still loading up the car, and she said that Tim was probably up by the cornfield looking for his friend.
What in the fuck?
What in the fuck?
Yeah,
Okay.
no.
Well, he's not convinced.
Here's how I address that. And here I need to take pause and wonder just how it is that mere minutes after the harrowing home invasion wherein she almost lost her son to a living, breathing, not so mythical monster, Tim's mother could be so relaxed about the same son who, and again, I cannot reiterate this enough, came this close to being abducted by a bevy of Bigfoot-like beasts being left alone outside near a never-ending labyrinth of corn is absolutely beyond me.
I mean, maybe shock, but I'm gonna say you'd be like in protective mode.
You
You'd
would
be
think.
like, no, like don't. Hey Tim, don't go to the fucking field, dude.
And Dad chases you and grabs you and tackles you down and
like,
holds you
the
there
fuck is wrong with you?
until you stop sobbing and drags you back into the house because you don't want to be Bigfoot fodder.
Yeah, exactly.
Or whatever the fuck these things are.
Yeah. Okay.
A skeptic might say that she was just being a practical mother of a large brood who was focused on her youngest children and hopefully getting all of them to safety, whereas individuals with more familiarity with situations of high strangeness might conclude that, like in so many other hairy hominid encounters or alien abductions for that matter, it seems like the critters in question are able to, at least with certain people, exude a sort of calming effect that inhibits panic when that reaction would be more than warranted. Whatever the reasons may be, Tim was now alone in the darkness near a badly wounded animal and its prodigious and understandably outraged parents. Showing more courage than common sense, especially considering that he knew all too well what might be lurking in the darkness, Randy decided to brave the gloom and potentially ravenous wild things to go searching for his friend. Props to fucking Randy for that one.
Yeah, man, Randy's brave as
Right.
shit, dude. Like your boy's out there having some moment with a possible dead squatch, and you're like, I gotta go get Tim back.
Oh,
I would do that for you guys.
I know.
I gotta get Bob.
But 10
I mean,
is...
someone's
Chris
gotta
ain't
do it,
going
man.
out there.
I mean, I think he would. He would.
I would.
Yes,
go
he
out there.
would.
No, I mean he's not gonna be out there near a cornfield after this happens. You would be. I'd be like, I don't gotta worry about Chris going.
Oh,
out
I'm not.
there.
No. Oh, okay. I know what you're saying. No, yes.
Yeah,
Chris would
yeah.
chase down a friend, but Chris would be
Yeah.
smart enough not to do that.
Yeah, he's not gonna be at the cornfield being like, Mikey, come back.
All right. If I'm really sad, I might run to the corn.
Chris is
I mean,
like,
yeah,
fuck
it
this, and
depends.
Rob's out there getting samples.
Shit.
He's like, where's that fucking dead squatch?
Oh my God. I'm putting all that bloody grass in a baggie.
Yeah, totally.
Literally,
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
if
yeah, dude.
any of this is fucking true,
Bring its head.
And I know we're going to be breaking that down when the time comes. This is like
This is an overwhelming
replete with
dude,
DNA.
There's so much
This is-
evidence.
Well,
This
yeah,
proves
there's blood.
100
There's a
times-
tape.
There's a
videotape?
tape.
Fucking, there's all
Yes,
kinds
there's
of
so
shit.
much evidence here. And you have
Multiple people.
multiple witnesses.
Cops ahoy.
Yeah, ambulance
Like-
drivers and attendants and young children and old children and bloody children and whatever, dude. Everyone's
Glass.
here. There, yeah,
Windows.
Oh, blood.
that are not there.
a bathroom that's going to need to be remodeled.
Oh, a whole house. is
Tom
probably
better get
gonna
on
need
his
some help.
shit.
Gun,
Yeah.
Forensics.
Yeah,
I don't know
there's
if
so
it
much,
really
dude.
was
There
with
is
him, but-
so much evidence in this case right
And
now.
then you got to remember it's 77, and the shit is really about to hit the fan. But I'm not
Okay.
going to get too much into
All right,
into what
well.
that we're going to have to wait for.
All right, so he's Randy's out there getting Tim. Come on back, friend.
Nowadays, everyone would have a fucking iPhone and a baggie. I would hope. Probably not a baggie. We would have maybe baggies.
Everyone's got a phone in a baggie,
I,
right?
I always,
What's me a baggie? What
I
do you
always
mean?
keep a baggie in the car in case I need to get evidence. Always.
Do you really?
Jad, you never know. You never know when some shit's going to drop out of a UFO or a fucking, or if a pterodactyl's going to shit in the road. Don't be embarrassed for me. Don't you hide from me.
Band meeting.
Fuck you guys. All right.
We gotta have a company meeting.
I don't necessarily think it's ever going to happen, but if
Bob's
I ever
bags.
find some shit and I don't have a baggie, who's going to
Okay.
be fucking disappointed?
Is it a clean?
You
Ba-
two
is it a
cocks.
clean? Is it a clean baggie?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a clean fucking. I had an old sandwich in it. What the fuck,
I
Chris?
mean, I see that glass you drink out of every.
All right, well, fuck you guys. You know what? Fuck
Chris,
you.
Chris.
Me and my baggie are going to prove this shit's real, and
All
fuck
right.
you guys if you think you're
All right.
along for the ride.
Get your absolutely clean, hermetically distilled, amazing baggie.
Eat shit,
I
Chris.
like that you're
I
prepared.
already did today.
See, he's untouchable.
I know. Fuck you guys. I love you, but fuck you guys.
Oh, yeah. Shit, Chris.
This is my cry to everyone out there. Keep a baggie handy. You never know.
yeah, I
Your
mean-
friends are going to pick on you. You know what? You're bigger than that
Yeah.
because I've got your back. Keep that baggie because when you find the evidence and you become the world famous adventurer, they'll fucking know. They'll fucking know.
Yeah, okay.
Dude, that's your memoir.
Back to the
A
fucking
baggie
story.
and a dream.
A baggie in Rob's car.
No, it's going to be called In Your Face, a baggie and a dream.
Eat shit the world.
Eat shit.
Eat shit the world.
Yep, that's the one.
Yeah.
That's it. Oh God, I want to design the cover so bad.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
I want to make that cover.
I probably
so
need
bad.
a new bag. It's been in there a while.
Oh yeah, it's okay, dude. You know what? We're gonna get you more. We got pod money, man. Patreon.com/Cryptonaut podcast. We're gonna get you some new bags.
If I ever find something big, I'm fucked. It's a little tiny baggie.
There's if you had
Get some freezer bags,
head,
man.
if you had a Sasquatch head, you couldn't put it in the bag.
Barely its eyebrow.
Nah, dog.
All right. We got to scale. We got to scale it back.
All right, here we go.
This is not about us.
All right, no, it's not.
Okay.
It's about
Randy's courage.
helping Tim.
He's going to search for his friend in the darkness.
Yeah.
With
Okay.
wounded animals.
All righty.
Walking beyond the house, he saw a trail of blood leading from the broken window and noted how Mikey must have climbed up a doghouse-looking object that housed the sump pump below the shattered glass. So apparently he drew a picture of it. It's like this weird half doghouse below the window that Mikey climbed up to smash through the window to get into the house. Okay. Then he heard a choking sob ahead. And, quote, I found Tim sitting by the cornfield crying. I sat there with him for a bit, and I tried to convince him that Mike might still be alive. He got out of the house after all, end quote. Even at the tender age of 10, Randy, already an experienced hunter, understood just how meager Mikey's chances actually were. But he had to try to convince his friend to come back to the relative safety of the house. After all, Tim's father had potentially grievously injured the young son of a pair of monolithic monsters. Who's to say they weren't looking to return the favor?
Oh, son for a son.
I mean, it's the way of the West.
House
Eye
of
for
the
eye.
dragon. House of the squatch.
Oh, there it is.
Yes.
Whether or not the older creatures were lying in wait, Randy managed to convince Tim to leave the eerie isolation of the backyard. Quote, I finally got Tim to go back to the house. Now, Tim was a good kid, but oh boy, when we got back to the house and my dad came out with his dad and he saw his dad, he just lit into his dad. He actually cursed his dad out for shooting Mike, saying that he didn't have to shoot him. He wasn't going to hurt anybody. That kid just really let his dad have it. They argued for a bit and they had to leave. Tim's mother, his two brothers, and his sisters were going to his aunt's to get away from the house. His dad was staying there in case anything happened. That seems like a decision I wouldn't probably make, but okay. Myself, I had to go to the hospital and get my stitches and pick up my mom along the way. Because, don't forget about mom.
Yeah,
she's there
she's
for like a
hanging out
half
at the
hour
hospital.
alone,
She's just in the back of the car like, Randy.
hearing sirens.
Mama Contreras just hanging out, man.
Just fucking paranoid as
Goddamn
fuck.
saint. A saint.
She is.
Holding everything together.
God bless her.
Good for her.
Just as Randy and his father were piling back into their Dodge Polara to pick up their mom before heading off to the hospital in Grand Rapids, a government car pulled into the driveway next to them and a familiar face popped out. John Redcorn.
Oh,
I
shit.
was wondering
He's
if he was coming back.
back to the return.
The return.
Fucking love it.
He was dressed in what appeared to be a military tactical jumpsuit with patches and insignia that are challenging based on Randy's illustrations to distinguish. But he is fucking dressed for success in a military fashion.
Okay.
Oh, dude.
John stopped the Randy's family, I'm not going to say the name anymore, and asked them if they knew what was going on. Less perhaps because he needed to know and more to find out what it was that they knew.
Oh, shit.
John, who somehow was already aware of the fact that Randy was injured and in need of stitches, turned to Gus and said something to the effect of, quote, they're going to think your boy was injured by a human being. If you have trouble with the doctors, give them this. With that, he handed the elder Kutrara, just let it happen,
Kutrara.
a card before turning toward the other officers on the scene who filled this stern man, who is clearly considered their superior, in on the specific details of both cases. So just hands the dad a card, said, if they give you in trouble at the hospital, give them
It's
this.
like a get out of free government card or something.
We'll get to that in a second.
John Redcorn, what's his deal, man?
Well, we're going to find out.
shit.
That's some part 4 shit.
Oh, shit, the Kiss Army.
Yeah.
All right.
As Randy and his dad drove off, the child could not help but to wonder who this mysterious stranger was, and why did all of the officers at the scene, men who usually carried themselves with such confidence and bombast, fall all over themselves to treat this individual so deferentially? Perhaps not surprisingly, Once Randy and his parents arrived at the hospital, John Redcorn's impromptu gift came in handy. Quote, "We had to use that card when we actually got to the hospital. I think the emergency room nurse called the doctor, and the doctor kind of freaked out. He's going, 'This isn't a wild animal. You know, this looks like it was done by a person.' And my dad just hands him that card. And the doctor goes into the other room. He uses the phone, and he comes back and just stitches me up without saying anything."
What sort of pull does Redcorn have?
Randy continues, "I don't know what kind of power this guy John Redcorn is what he called himself. His real name was Jerry," he adds. "I can't tell you his last name. I don't know what kind of power he had, but he had a lot of it. He pulled that a lot of times, and I'll get to that later, but ... So Randy's supplying the foreshadowing here. He had a lot of power. He's not exactly sure.
Dude, this is like
Yeah.
some
Real name's
fucking
Jerry.
anti-Squatch task force dude, codenamed John Redcorn.
And indigenous peoples like Men in Black, fucking, like paranormal.
Like they're fucking Van
Oh,
Helsing.
intelligence
dude. It's a Van
agency.
Helsing.
It's like BPRD. It's an intelligence agency
Yeah.
for the paranormal, run by indigenous peoples and Native Americans and whomever else that are fucking dealing with these elemental things that have been here long before, Europeans colonized America, likely, and who knows what else. Maybe old god shits for all we know.
Shit, like
I
House
mean,
of Slaughter. Yeah, dude.
I don't want to
Fuck.
go full Lovecraft, but it's fucking crazy.
Damn. Okay. Cool.
The speculation. Anyway,
Fuck, dude.
so John Redcorn, codename John Redcorn, is what's going on here.
Right.
Okay. So he goes, let me find this place here. "I got done with my stitches and we headed home that night. I guess from what I was going to learn later, John Redcorn spent a lot of time there in the dark with the cops and what government guys that did show up looking for a body, but they didn't find it that night. I'll get to the next morning here in a minute. Then it gets even weirder." End quote. Just to offer up a taste of what's to come. The next morning, a freshly stitched up Randy woke up not long after dawn to an empty house. A note told him that his parents and sister had left to go run some errands. I know.
What?
I mean, it's 70s.
Why?
Dude, it's the
What?
70s. You just leave your kids. You don't tell them you're going
After
anywhere.
all
You
Why
this
guys-
did they both
bullshit.
have to go? Why couldn't one just stay?
Yeah.
Thank you.
I mean,
Why is this hard?
yeah. Jesus, hold your kids.
I know.
Oh, dear the past.
Yeah.
I swear to
Do
God.
better. Fuck, man.
It's no wonder juvenile delinquency was all the rage and teenage pregnancy was the number one pastime.
Do you know why?
And stickball.
Grease. They
Yep.
told us about this.
Grease warned us.
Yeah, Grease
And
warned
they
us.
sang it.
They did.
Grease 2 warned us even better
They
with
did.
even better songs.
Yeah.
Controversial, but Chris and I agree.
Yep.
Grease 2 is a banger.
It is a banger.
Fuck yeah, dude.
Yeah. I mean, I like the original Grease, but come on.
I know.
It doesn't compare.
Jesus
no.
Christ.
God, Travolta's awesome.
Yeah.
Cool Rider.
Shit.
Regardless.
All right.
The Gad is
We're all big Grease guys.
We are.
All right.
Blame us.
Yeah.
I mean, Adrian Barbeau, the original
Should we go as
Stockard
Grease
Channing.
for Halloween?
Probably not. I don't have the hair for it. I mean, what am I going to do?
Get you a
Pompadour my beard?
Get you a wig.
I could wear a wig.
We can be fucking
wear a
cool
wig.
guys. Yeah. All right. Never mind.
What?
I mean,
Yeah, we got to end this. Okay, we're almost
all right.
there.
No. All right.
Our Grease dreams aside,
Yeah.
our cool guy dreams.
It's the morning. He's alone. He's injured.
fucking.
He's
weird,
been through
dude.
arguably one of the most terrifying events that a human being could go through without, I guess, losing life or limb.
Yeah.
And he wakes up alone because that's
Yep.
what every 10-year-old kid wants.
Yeah, fucking A, man.
While scrounging up some breakfast before whatever late summer adventure this day was destined to bring, the quiet was broken by the ring of a telephone. Randy answered, quote, this is him talking about it years later. I get a strange phone call from Tim's dad saying, I found your hairy friend in the creek. Come down and see him before I have to give him to the government. End quote.
Oh, boy.
Without finishing breakfast, Randy raced outside, hopped on his 10-speed, aimed it south, and began pumping as fast as his legs would go. He wasn't sure what kind of state he'd be in, but he was going to see Mikey again. A combination of dread and excitement began to build in the youngster's stomach as the dark trees and endless rows of corn sped by in a blur. Though he didn't know it yet, Randy's life was about to change forever. But being the dick that I am, you're going to have to wait another week to hear that story. Unless, of course, you're listening to this in the not-so-distant future, and then part 4 is just sitting in your queue waiting to go, making you one lucky son of a bitch. Congrats, I hope you have cool future hair.
Yeah.
To the rest of you, I
Rogues, too.
promise it'll be worth the wait.
Oh shit, Mikey story part 3. Hell night. Yeah.
Hell night.
God damn. We've talked about it a little earlier, but we're just going to put this out there that there's so much fucking evidence.
So much.
In this 24-hour period.
This proves everything.
Apparently, yeah. Like,
there's so much.
I mean, working under the assumption that
shit.
this
All
happened
right.
the way Randy claims, there's so much fucking evidence that it is redonkulous.
Well, I mean, then again, though, I think what's going to end up putting the kibosh here, I'm going to do a little bit of foreshadowing here. If Mr. Redcorn is a part of this, task force or whatever that's out there putting the kibosh on the squatch, I mean, then you already got your cleaner. He's already
he's
there.
wiping everything off the map.
Oh yeah, dude, he's already there to clean everything. He's erasing the tapes. He has little bags. He's putting shit in little bags.
See, little bags come in handy. Fuck off, both of you. But
So
okay, not going there.
This
again.
could be some attempt that, okay, it's fine that John's there and he's giving you a hand, gives you the weird card that gets you past the doctor asking questions. But he could also be working, counterproductive in as far as the evidence goes for this. So
Could be.
God damn. All right, man. Well, shit, man, we did it. Fuck. So part 4 is coming up next week, Robert.
I mean, God willing.
Kiss Army.
Oh yeah, 100% the
I
title.
love it, dude. I can't fucking.
Yeah.
God damn it. All right,
don't
man.
even
Well,
know.
shit. Come back next week. Check it out. Cryptonaut podcast. Oh, you know what we did not mention at the beginning of the show? That Chris's movie is officially out.
Oh yeah.
Squirrels. It is on our YouTube
Oh,
page.
yeah.
Check it out. And by the time this comes out, there is a Squirrels blooper reel
Yeah.
with a mega cut of one Demon Smasher.
Oh my.
That's pretty fucking
Yeah.
I
funny,
cannot
dude.
wait.
It's
Yeah.
super, dude. It's fucking
I'm very
hilarious,
excited.
dude. So check that out again. That is youtube.com/Cryptonaut podcast. And before we get out of here, obviously, Robert, we got to do some shout outs to the good folks who support us over there
Fucking ain't
on
right
the
we do.
Patreons, the Cryptonaut, I'm sorry, patreon.com/Cryptonaut podcast. So much goddamn content. I forget how much there is, and then I go into to look for something. And I'm like, fuck,
I know.
there's so much.
I've forgotten
Son
so
of a
many of the
bitch.
things we shot already. Like we were talking before the podcast, and like none of us can remember what we just
Dude,
did.
there's 2 videos
Yeah.
that a week that come out on like a Wednesday and a Friday that are like other video content in our studio that we shoot in a very Maury Povich like situation, and I forget half of it
Oh yeah,
until I watch it and I'm like, fuck, oh
Yeah.
my god, because we just do so much of it. But
I love it.
yeah, so you can sign up for that 10, and the $10 people are watching us just seeing that fancy trucker hat you got.
Yeah, you should be.
So then you can sign up for that again at
Handsome bastards, one and all.
/Cryptonaut podcast. Robert, let's do the shout outs.
To begin with, thank you one and all for your support. We could not do it without you, and you guys are life-changing and life-affirming, and thank you all. Austin Anderson.
Thank you, Austin.
Regino Pizarro.
What up? Back again. Thank you so much. We
Yeah.
appreciate the support.
Taylor V.
Hell
or
yeah.
the 5th.
Taylor.
Could be the 5th.
Taylor the
Oh, could
5th.
be.
Could be
Thank you.
Taylor 5.
Could be.
But I'm going to go with Taylor V for now.
Taylor, thank you.
Jonathan Guider.
Thank you, Jonathan.
Oh, what a name. That's a good name.
It is.
Ember Cruson.
Thank you, Ember.
Also a fucking cool name.
Hell yeah.
Wanda Lovejoy. The cool names keep coming.
Oh my
the
god.
hits are here.
Jesus.
Spooky Pooky 69.
Oh, Spooky Pooky 69.
It's going to look weird on a birth certificate, and I'm
Fucking
going to fucking fall in love.
Yeah, I love it.
Sid with a C.
Thank you, Sid.
Mm.
Baltimore Bone Collector. And for all our serial killers out there, thank you for just listening.
A return supporter. Thank you, Baltimore Bone Collector.
Last, never least, among my favorites, Colleen Barbie.
Thank you, Colleen
Nice.
Barbie. And again, you can check out all that bonus content, audio and video at patreon.com/Cryptonaut podcast. Also, we have a shout out to do for one of our listeners that sent us some awesome
Swag.
material from the Veggie Man Fest,
The-
which our buddy Cole
the
Harold
comic
was
book,
at.
the zine. Yeah,
Oh,
Cole
dude.
Harold was one of the main speakers on the Veggie
Yeah,
Man.
yeah.
And as mentioned before in a few pods, I'm just going to drop it again. He went and did a special hunk of research at the Gray Barker archives at the local library there,
Yes.
and got some additional Veggie Man info, which is coming very soon.
There's going to be a Veggie Man Redux.
I've
courtesy
been
of
going
our
through
buddy
that.
Cole.
Super excited, and a bunch of other shit that he's involved with, but I believe the name because I gathered the information up and I brought it home in the zine that talks about like the Grafton Monster and like the extended Veggie Man stuff and all sorts of cool shit. and a sweet, sweet letter that was sent to us. I believe the name is Cole Barnes.
Yes, Mr. Cole Barnes, thank you so much for sending that out our way. It was awesome. It was a great little package to get. Super cool. I believe it was Jonathan Dodd that did the zine. Yeah,
he did the comic zine.
Yeah,
there was another one that the Moth Boys podcast, because they're the ones that put on the whole event.
Put it on. They put a couple of events on that's super cool.
Yeah, it seems awesome to be fun, and they're really celebrating the obscure things and bringing business and excitement to small towns. I think what they're doing is fucking excellent.
Dude, it's so cool, man.
If we had an ounce of ambition, we'd probably try the same.
Well,
that will never happen.
I mean, we have. Well, we're in Auburn. We got the electric chair. We can't really rally that one.
I'm not trying to.
Okay, good. No. There you go.
I mean, I can barely get away with having a baggie in the Armada at this point.
We can't be.
But no, shout out to the Moth Boys. Shout out to Cole Barnes. Cole Harold for fucking this wicked speaking engagement. Always a great dude. Cole Barnes for sending us all that cool shit, and everyone else who sends us awesome things. I mean, when we get fancy mail or even whatever mail, it just makes us all happy.
Oh, yeah, dude,
we're like giddy like fucking kids.
Dude, we love getting
thank you.
Mail from y'all. We appreciate it. The Instas and the Twitters and the Facebooks boys who are out there doing it recently joined the TikToks. I'm not sure if you've heard.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so we're on there. We're doing that.
So the kids love us now.
I got my son paying us to create some clips.
You're paying your son.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. He's not paying us shit.
No, he's not paying us. I'm paying him to create some clips. He's a little bit behind.
He's doing all right.
No. I've been like, buddy, like he's all paid up.
Right.
I was like, baby, he's not paid up. Paid him up. I'm like, all right, more clips. And he's like, yeah, well, whatever, dude. And he's been busy.
I mean, how thrilling is it to watch your dad and his friends talk shit?
He makes good clips. And I'm super excited.
Yeah.
But he's been doing a good job, and hopefully I can get him a little bit motivated before school to pump out a couple more clips for me there, buddy, because I got them 20s. I got stacks of 20s waiting for you.
Hot 20s.
If you're listening to this, Chooch, all those 20s could be yours, friend.
Wow.
They're all sitting on the dresser.
Yeah.
Waiting for you to pop up some clips for the TikToks. So check that out. Our TikTok name is just at Cryptonaut Podcast, just like our Instagram, and all of our other stuff. So check it out there.
Yeah.
Oh, we got the merch at hellerspace.com and cryptonautmerch.com. School is just around the corner. You know what that means? You're going back to college, having some parties, hanging out, wearing trucker hats, wearing cool merch. Maybe it's your first year in like middle school. You're like, I'm a cool fucking 7th grader and shit. And you're like, I want to wear this cool ass shirt. You should do it.
Yeah.
Tell your parents. Get that fucking card out.
There it is.
You know what? They work for a living. You know what they work for? To get you cool shit.
That goes without saying.
That's why I work for my kids, to get them cool shit.
Clearly.
So there you go. So get your kids some merch. You're in college, get yourself some merch. You're in high school. Nothing says cool dude like the fucking sweet crypto shirt.
Cool dude.
Cool dude.
Nothing says I'm partying and getting laid
Fuck
all
yeah.
the time. Like cryptozoology swag.
Exactly.
I say with no sarcasm whatsoever.
So check all that out. There's obviously sales going on. And we have some new shirts. We have the Paranormal Sage shirt, which features our own Mr. Robert Thomas and more from over here.
And we have a Demon Smasher
Demon Smasher
featuring the celebrated persona, alter ego of our very own Mark Storrs.
Yes, we do.
Who was fucking hilarious.
And then we also have
movie.
our Heller Space 2024 t-shirt just in time for the political season.
Oh, yeah.
That election, I don't know if you heard about this, but that election is just around the corner.
It's a doozy, I hear.
And you can
the
wear,
kids are all excited.
You can wear your shirt. You can wear that.
Heller Space.
Yeah, Heller Space 2024. There you go. So check all that out. All the links are going to be in the description of this podcast. You can click and do all your stuff there. And
I think we nailed it.
We did it. That was everything.
Yeah,
Chris's movie. Oh, be sure to join Discord.
Of course.
The Discord's awesome. We just had a viewing party of Chris's movie.
Yeah, we did. It was fun.
It was super fun, dude.
The people were there. They were talking up a storm. Dude. Great questions. Hackety as always in the rest.
Oh, yeah.
Little Jesus. Tell me the name I'm forgetting.
Noah?
Bone Daddy.
Bone Daddy.
Yeah.
Yeah, Noah.
I mean, I don't forget anybody, but I forget names all the time. But they're always in my heart, even if you're not in my mind, because my mind is a shit show.
And thank you again to Bone Daddy, Hackety, and literally Jesus for holding that down for us. They know how to work that fucker so well.
God.
There's so many things in that I'm like, I don't know how to move to a channel. You're asking.
I don't at all.
Like how can you teleport me quick?
No, I started the whole fucking event without even trying because some asshole made me an admin. Yeah. So now I can do things.
You started it early.
That's just fucking
don't
ridiculous.
Click on anything.
It's fine.
I know. I'm not going to. I'm just going to get there.
You did fine. You fired it up and we were all ready to go.
And
so
I was so excited because Chris's. It wasn't the premiere actually, but it was the Discord interactive premiere, and it's a fun movie. And I've seen it.
It's so much fun.
Oh my God, a dozen times already, and it's just a joy. It's your sense of humor through and through. I can't wait to see what your next project is.
Yeah, I'm
super
stoked,
fun,
man.
super
Yeah, me
super
too.
cool,
I'm,
beautiful to watch.
I'm
So
super
check it
excited
out if you
to
have
check
not
it
checked it
out.
out yet, because it is on our YouTube channel.
It is.
is.
So there you have it. Thank you all so very much, and we'll be talking to you soon.
Fucking A right.
Peace out, y'all.
Keep the baggies handy, cause monsters poop, and you need to save the DNA.
Yeah.
Help me out, Chris.
No, yeah.
No, yeah,
you
you
nailed it.
had a good
That was
beat
all you,
too.
man.
No,
That was
you,
all
you,
you.
you did phenomenal, right, Chris?
Thank you. Thank you, boys.
Yes.
Nailed
Thank
it.
you.
Exactly.
If we patched everything up, are we good now?
Yeah, I mean, we did
Yeah.
something. All right, cool. See ya. Bye.
Bye, fuckers.